Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we're gonna be doing another almost full face of dupes, and I've got some really good ones in here. You guys seem to really enjoy the last dupes video that I did, so I'm gonna try and do these like monthly or every other month because I love a good dupe. Apparently you guys love a good dupe, so let's go ahead and get into some more. All right, first up for foundation, I have a very new viral foundation that everyone has been talking about. I picked it up so that I could try it, see if I found something similar in my collection, and as soon as I put it on, it reminded me of something that I already had. So that foundation is the Charlotte's Beautiful Skin Foundation. So this is for your best healthy looking skin. I got the shade 7, which is warm. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this with my Sephora foundation brush. You guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I picked this up as a part of their holiday collection, and I got it in a brush set that was so good. I raved about it, but it sold out so quickly, unfortunately. But I will definitely keep an eye out for more like affordable brush options at Sephora because this is so good, but that's beside the point. This foundation goes on super smoothly. It's very dewy, radiant foundation. It's supposed to be like your skin, but better. But it does have some decent coverage. Skin tints and tinted moisturizers are really popular right now, and this doesn't claim to be a skin tint or tinted moisturizer. It's called a foundation, and that's how it applies. It's really beautiful, applies really easily, looks skin-like, like I said, radiant, but a solid medium coverage, I would say. And as soon as I applied it, I was like, this feels almost identical to another product that I have that's different in a few ways, but if you're looking for something that's just gonna give you a very similar effect on the skin as this one, I would say the Purito BB cream is extremely similar. This is not an exact shade dupe. I have this in the shade Sand Beige, which is number 27. This is a little bit lighter than the color that I got in the Charlotte Tilbury. But as far as the formula goes, very similar. So I'm gonna apply this to this side. This is a solid medium coverage as well. You can build this one up to be full coverage, but if you use less product, you'll get less coverage. It's kind of buildable in that way. But it's got that really skin-like radiant finish, just like the Charlotte Tilbury one. The difference is that this actually has an SPF in it, which there's no flashback or anything. So that's only a plus in my book. And this one is fragrance free, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury has quite a fragrance to it. So this is a situation where I actually, for my sensitive skin, prefer the dupe to the high-end product because it has the exact same coverage, staying power, and finish as the Charlotte Tilbury one, but it's got the SPF and it doesn't have the fragrance. So definite winner there if you've been eyeing that foundation but don't want to spend $45 on it. Purito BB cream is, I want to say $8, so much less expensive. And I don't have a concealer dupe, so I'm going to go in with my Catrice True Skin Concealer to cover up my circles and a little bit of redness that I always get right there. And I'm just gonna blend that in using this same brush and put a bit on my eyelid as well to prep my eyes for eyeshadow. All right, next up I'm gonna go in with the blush because I have a cream blush that I'm gonna be duping, and it is the Rare Beauty cream blush in the shade Nearly Apricot. This whole Rare Beauty line is so beautiful, but these blushes are gorgeous, and specifically this shade really caught my attention. I'm gonna put a decent amount of product on my e.l.f. Complexion brush. This brush is one that I got from that holiday collection. That's why it's this blue color, but they do sell this brush as a part of their regular brush line. It's just not this blue color, but it's the same thing. If you wanted to pick this up, I will link it down below. This is just such a pretty, peachy, warm blush tone. If you like warm blushes, love this color. However, there is a dupe not only for the formula, but for this beautiful shade. It is the e.l.f. Putty Blush in the shade Turks and Caicos. So it looks a little bit different in the pan, but when applied, it's this really pretty kind of warm pink as well. I'm just gonna put this one on this side. It gives that same really warm, beautiful, pinky shade, beautiful radiant finish. If you have dry skin, you could kind of just leave this without setting it, but I do not, so I'm probably gonna set both sides. And the color, if you can see on both sides, is like an identical match, and the formula is the same. All right, next up for powder. On the high end, I've got the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. This is one of those cult classic products that I feel like, especially when I first started watching YouTube, everyone talked about this product, and it was just so expensive. And back then, back in my day, back then there weren't a whole lot of really good dupes for it, so it was kind of worth the money. But now there are so many different options at the drugstore that I don't think it's necessary to spend this much, although it is still a beautiful, beautiful powder. So I'm just using my Sonia Kashuk small point brush to powder wherever I get shiny and right under where I put the blush, because I'm going to go in with a powder blush over top just to set it. And this just sets it without making you look super chalky. And then on the dupe side, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This I have like re-fallen in love with. I picked it up recently and I've been really, really loving it. The only difference here is I got this one in the shade Fair because I've been liking this to brighten up my under eye area. So this is going to do some brightening, whereas the Laura Mercier one did not because it's translucent, but I prefer that for under the eyes. And if you have a foundation that's a little bit too dark, this is a really good trick to brighten it up a little bit, is using a lighter powder than what you need. And that just airbrushes everything without you looking chalky. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the two sides of my face are looking pretty identical right now, and there is a significant price difference. And then to set my blush on both sides, I'm just going to use my Wet n Wild blush in the shade Pearlescent Pink. This will, like I said, set the blush, but also give my skin a nice little radiant glow. And if you find your blush wears off really easily and you love a good blushy look, but it never lasts on you, this is a really good trick. Layer on a cream and a powder and it will not budge, because as your powder wears off, you've got that cream underneath that will shine through and you'll never be without rosy cheeks. And then I don't have a bronzer dupe, so I'm just gonna go in with my Maybelline City Bronzer and warm up my forehead just a little bit. The shades of these foundations were pretty good, so I don't need a whole lot of bronzing, but I just want to have some warmth added to the skin. All right, next up for brows. On the expensive side, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Brow Wiz. I have this in the shade Medium Brown, another total cult classic product, and I see why. The undertones have a really good variety in this collection, but now again, there are such good drugstore options with really good drugstore shade ranges. I remember a time when you were trying to find a brow product and your options were like blonde or brunette, and that was it. There was no like ash brown or warm brown or auburn like there is now. So it definitely opened up a market for a product like this. Whereas now you have all those options with very similar formulas. So even though this is still a fantastic product, the price point isn't as worth it anymore. All right, and then on the dupe side, I'm gonna go in with my NYX Micro Brow Pencil. You guys probably knew this was coming, but I had to include it because it really is such a good dupe. They're slightly different colors because I have this next one in the shade Taupe. I've talked about how much I love this shade before. It's just so forgiving. You can be super messy and not worry about it. This is one of those ranges with so many different shades. Depending on the undertone of your hair or whatever tone you're going for with your brows, you can find it in this range. I either use the shade Taupe or the shade Ash Brown. I feel like the shade Ash Brown is probably more of a match to the Anastasia one that I just used. All right, and then I set my brows with a new product that I am currently testing for you guys, so we'll save that for another video. But let's go in with eyeshadow. All right, on my high-end side, I'm gonna use one of my all-time favorite products. This is a product for the longest time that I could not dupe, but now I can. It is the Laura Mercier Caviar eyeshadow stick. I don't have an exact shade dupe here. I love this shade, but this formula is really, really gorgeous. It's super soft and blendable, and that's what I love about it most of all. And that's what's hard to find at the drugstore. I feel like a lot of the drugstore eyeshadow sticks are not this creamy and not this blendable. Kind of more like the Maybelline tattoo pots. They last a really long time, but they don't blend quite as easily. So I apply this all over my lid and then a little bit higher just to make my lid look bigger because I have kind of a hooded eye. And then I take a blending brush, this is just the ColourPop one, and I just blend those edges out. And it's so effortless. It looks like you're wearing multiple eyeshadows, but all you have on is this one. And I just like kind of create the shape that I'm going for, which is a little bit of a cat eye. And that's it. That's your eyeshadow done. And then you can apply it under the eye as well. And then just take a small pencil brush and blend. It's like the easiest one eyeshadow look ever because it is so blendable. And then once it sets, it takes a little while to set, so you do have time to blend it. And then once it sets, it's not going anywhere. And then the dupe that I found is this one by Kiko Milano. This is the Long Lasting Eyeshadow Stick. I have the full size of this one. That Laura Mercier is the mini size. This again is not an exact shade dupe, but I love this shade. And it is just as creamy, just as blendable. it blew me away the first time I used it. This is a little bit more of like a bronzy color, but I love it. So I kind of do the same technique on this side. Take that blending brush and just blend those edges out. And it's just so easy. And do you see how easy this just blends with no effort? I'm not tugging, I'm not pulling. And then I'm gonna take some underneath my eye as well with that same pencil brush and just smudge. Done. If you are like, I'm so bad at eyeshadow, my eyeshadow looks terrible all the time, I just need a one and done, simple eyeshadow look, this is all you need. A blending brush and one of these eyeshadow sticks. They come in multiple colors. It's so effortless, but it looks glamorous. All right, next up for mascara, on the high end side, I've got the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. It's got the infamous wand that is very similar to the Lash Paradise mascara wand, but I actually don't find Lash Paradise to be the best dupe of this. I feel like if there's one product that I will challenge anyone to buy drugstore, it is mascara. There is just absolutely no difference, no reason to spend luxury money on a product like mascara. It's the same thing. Super beautiful, but so is the dupe. And the dupe is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. This has that same kind of hourglass shaped wand, and it's a better dupe in my opinion than the Lash Paradise. Lash Paradise is a little bit more of a thicker formula than the Better Than Sex. Better Than Sex still is a slightly thicker formula if you compare it to all mascaras, but it's not quite as thick as Lash Paradise. All right, may come back to the eyes, but I'm gonna leave them pretty simple right now because I have a pretty bold lip color. The lip color I'm gonna be duping is the Fenty Uncensored Lip Paint. This is supposed to be like a universal red that looks good on everyone, and this formula is amazing. So I'm gonna try and freehand it, but I'll probably end up going back in with a lip liner. I'm gonna put this on my right side. All right, this looks crazy. And then the dupe that I have is the L'Oreal Infallible Matador liquid lipstick. Both super long wearing and really, really beautiful reds on so many different skin tones. So that is everything. I feel like the two sides of my face look pretty much identical, and there is a significant price difference. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did and you want to see more dupe videos here on my channel. I'd be happy to do them. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.